Another week, another trading cycles video. It's week 10 of 2023 and we are back again. My name is Eric and I'm here with Urmas. Say hello.
Hi from me. And yes, first, before we move forward, we need to look back as well, Eric.
Before we continue, do keep in mind we do not provide financial advice. All the content that we share is intended for educational purposes only. And as Urmas likes to say, always trade the price and not the prediction.
That's right, yeah. So firstly, let's look back what happened last week. And as we can see from here, last week was an up week as we predicted. So that went quite well. So if we go on a daily chart, we can see that price action was a bit sloppy, but it did end up higher than it started the week. So it's all good as we predicted here. And on the weekly, we can still see that this support line is now holding quite well. So the price just bounced back from that line, which is good. So we know that this line is now formed a support level, not acting as a resistance anymore as it was during the 2022. So that's all working fine. And if we look forward now, what the next week is going to bring. So basically, I have my lines drawn here already. So we got a couple of turning points coming up. First is on Monday, and the second one is on Wednesday. So what I think that the price action on the US markets will be, well, basically coming down on the first couple of days of the week, and then the price rise will continue. And it is at the moment set to the 16th when the next important turning point is coming up. So this is what we think is going to happen. Obviously, we need to see what the actual price is doing, as you said, as I like to say. Firstly, we need to see what the market is thinking, not what we think the market is doing. All right. And another thing I wanted to bring in this week, the daily basically guidelines here. I have drawn a couple of lines here for the coming week, and basically on the S&P 500. You can see those little squares and boxes here, and the guidelines as well. This means that the price action might follow those lines quite closely. At least it's worth to keep a close eye on these. This is how we can predict intraday movements based on the astrology and cycles. So these boxes are especially strong areas of the predictability zones, and this red box is mostly then downwards movement, and these green boxes rather upwards movement. Okay. So yeah, we can see then next week how this prediction holds, but it is at least interesting to follow how it's going to work out. Now let's look at Bitcoin. How did it go last week? And we can see that Bitcoin prediction was quite accurate as well. So that price action from this turning point from 27th of February until 2nd of March was predicted to move up. It didn't quite go in a straight line, but it did end up kind of up. And obviously from that turning point on the 2nd, we predicted that the price will move down, and there was quite a heavy drop on the price action on the 3rd. So that is following the prediction quite well. So we are quite happy with that. What's going to follow? I think on Bitcoin, we have important turning point here coming up on Wednesday as well on the 8th. And then the price action is probably going to move higher until the mid-March. All right. So, and gold market, as I said last time, we don't have our so to say turning points here ready yet, but what we think that the gold market is at the moment in decline, and this price action should continue. There was a short correction on that drop during last week, but the next week probably the decline will continue. All right. And what the broad market is doing, so I have my so to say market indicator here, what is basically 50-day moving average of the broad market, so all the stocks, or at least most of the stocks on the market, and their average 50-day moving average. And what we have seen in the history, how this indicator works. So basically, if the market is overbought, it tends to correct itself. So when it gets to that 70% or higher zone, it will tend to correct, and then it goes to the 30% zone, when it tends to then again rise. And it doesn't always reach that level, obviously, but it is a good probability. When it is up high in here, it will correct at some point. And this held quite well on this correction cycle as well. So in the beginning of February, the market was a bit overbought, and it started correcting itself. And at the moment, I would say that since we are running into the cyclical seasonality cycle, which is basically raising markets up until the end of April, this is gonna probably not drop anymore. It's gonna go back to that 70% level at some point in the near future. All right. And also the VIX index, which is the fear index, so to say, it's volatility of S&P 500. And when the market is frightened or scared, then the VIX index tends to rise. At the moment, it has been very steady and slow here. So basically, there is no fear on the market going on. And that indicates as well that the market is going to probably rise further on from here. All right, so that's about it. That's the broad overview of what we think is going to come and what happened last week. There is coming a short correction on that that raise that we saw on the second week of last week, yeah. And from there on, the market is going to rise. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think midweek will be good time to look into buying some stocks that have good potential to rise. So obviously not all the stocks are following the market, but most of them will. So that's quite easy to follow the broad market and then enter the trades with the strong stocks when the market is rising. So that's what I would recommend to do always, or what I'm doing at least. Obviously, I can't give you financial advice what to do, so you need to make your own decision and research before you make decisions. All right. And yeah, that's about it. So we have quite interesting times ahead. So that's quite important to follow as well. That health plays quite well. You can see that the beginning of March now was a strong raising indication here, and there is a short-term correction coming, which I think is going to be first half of the next week, and then we have quite good potential of rising prices until the mid-April or up until beginning of May. So yeah, that is quite important to follow as well, as it is a good indication how the market might behave. Obviously, it's not the whole truth, so we need to see what actually is going to happen, but just to keep it in mind that it might happen that way. All right, so that's why I'm also positive on the market outlook for the next coming weeks. All right.
That makes sense, yeah.
Perfect. But then until next week, and we'll be back with the results. Then we'll see next week how the predictions went and what the market really thought of the price action. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Urmas, and thank you for watching and listening to us. If you find this content to be helpful, obviously click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're at this point and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Just subscribe. Click the like button and leave a comment with your thoughts. If you have any ideas for how we can improve our content or ideas for future videos, leave those in the comment section down below. And if you've subscribed, click that bell notification icon so you get notified when we next upload. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
See you next week. Bye-bye.